Hi there. So today I will be going over the residential buyer tenant representation agreement. So let's share this screen and I will go over the document with you. So this document establishes the relationship between me as your realtor and you as my client. It gives the information here for each party, says that I will be representing you in a real estate transaction. And you say, well, why do we need this? We need this for a couple of different reasons, so that we're establish the clear boundaries of what our responsibilities are when we work together. And also in the event that, God forbid, another agent says that you're already working with them, and we have proof that indeed we have agreed to work together. Now, keep in mind, if at any point in this process, before we go under contract, if we cannot seem to establish a good working relationship, I will be more than happy to terminate this. This is also something that I need for my office, and it is a requirement. So this explains acquire means to purchase, closing means to get to the closing table when all documents are finalized. Market area, I will probably enter El Paso County. And then when it starts, when it ends, and this shows the obligations that I have to help you in the acquisition of a property. This also says that you will work with me. Now remember, as realtors, we don't have a set paycheck. We work straight commission. So that's why it's very important that if we decide to work together, that it is mutual and exclusive. Working with different realtors winds up being a little bit more detrimental to the client, because then one realtor cannot really fully establish the needs and wants and likes if different people are showing them different properties. If one person works with you, then I get a very good feel of what you've seen, what you like, why you like it, why you don't, that sort of thing, right? And your preferences with regard to pricing and area and negotiating style, right? So each person represents that they have the legal capacity to work with this contract. You represent that you're not part of another contract. Now, if you are, it's best that we know now in order to avoid any kind of issues. This says that you represent that all the information that you're giving us is true and correct. If you are working with the relocation department, then we need to enter that information here. And letter E, this is something new that was recently added. This says that I cannot sign for you any document. I am not a party to the purchase or the sale of any property. I represent you, but I'm not your legal representative. So I cannot sign a document on your behalf. Intermediary status, it says that if you wind up looking at any properties that are listed within Keller Williams, that you choose to look at them. I mean, our broker, my boss, who overlooks all the agents in the office, he cannot disclose any information in either direction. I cannot disclose any confidential information you give me. I have to keep it confidential unless you give me written permission. Even after closing, I cannot disclose, okay? And the broker, my boss, will make sure that I'm appointed to work with you, and that the other agent that represents the seller, if that comes to be, also represents the seller, and he cannot pass information in either direction. Now, if you chose not to work with that scenario, we would check this. I would say, however, let's not restrict your ability to look at any property. With my track record, with my years of experience, I've never had an issue with this situation regarding confidentiality. And not just that, but I would never do that and risk losing my license as well. And this explains what I just went over. Now, if I have another buyer looking at the same property that you do, I have to let you know, but I cannot disclose information in either direction. That rarely happens, so I'm not really concerned about that. Of course, confidentiality. This says that I will be paid a commission. Usually it's paid by the seller. Now, if you happen to find a for sale by owner, usually I will ask them first to pay me. But in the event that they're not willing to pay a commission, then I would ask you all to pay a commission. I've never seen that happen. And if it's something that you really love and that you cannot pay, then I will be more than happy to terminate this agreement and let you all purchase that property without having to pay me anything. I just can't represent you or work because even if I don't get paid, I'm still liable, okay? Source of commission, usually it's outside of the relationship that we have as a buyer and an agent. And then it's earned and payable. It's only earned and payable when you get to closing. Now, in the event that you breach a contract, let's say we get you under contract, we get all the way down to the finish line, and then you decide not to buy, and there's no given reason in the contract for that. Then at that point, you would owe me a commission. I've also never had to enforce that. Usually we know early on if it's a house for you or not, without having to have it go through the entire process. Additional compensation, if the seller landlord offers something in addition, then I still get the bonus. That does happen. You are not obligated to pay any kind of bonus. Even if I request a bonus, usually it's to the other party, it's not to the client, okay? Acquisition of brokers listings. If you buy one of our Keller Williams properties, then the other agent will pay me through the seller, okay? In addition, if you wind up buying new construction, then you would also owe me the commission. I can also refer people to like cable company movers, contractors, and ask them to give me a referral fee. I just have to disclose it to you. I do not like to do that. I do not like to be responsible for other people's work. Protection period. Whatever number of days here means that, let's say our agreement finishes December 31st, right? And within, let's say I put 60 days in there, which I usually do. So that means by the end of February, if you wind up buying any of the properties that I showed you, then you would owe me a commission. However, I do have to give you a list of the properties that I showed you within 10 days after the December 31st, okay? You authorize us to deposit earnest money with title. We usually don't have to deal with that anymore because usually it's money that's directly wired into title. All monies are paid in El Paso County. Mediation, if we have a disagreement, we agree to go to mediation first. It's cheaper and it's faster. If either one of us fails to comply with the contract, then we are in default. And let's see there, okay. Now, let's say if you all are in default with the contract, I may terminate this agreement and I may make you responsible for the commission. Again, let's say we get to closing, you say, you know what, I'm gonna buy the house, but I don't want Geraldine to get paid a commission. Well, I could terminate this and still make demand for the commission because the idea is that I earned the commission, I got you to closing, and I did my due diligence. If I fail to comply with the contract, then you may also pursue your avenues, whether it's terminating the contract or we go to court. But knock on wood, let's hope that never happens. I've never been in that situation. So attorney fees, whoever loses in court may have to pay the winner's attorney's fees. And I cannot be held responsible for you getting hurt or any of your inspectors or people that you go into the house get hurt. In addition to this contract, any of these items are applicable, including information about brokerage services, which is in another video, mold remediation, information about property insurance, general information about lead, special flood areas. Again, get an inspection done, and wire fraud. Wire fraud is a big deal. So if you ever get an email from a title company saying that you need to send the money to a different account, do not respond. You call me immediately, okay? Because that should never, ever, ever happen. How we get paid is negotiable based on what the other agent is offering. We do not have fixed commissions. That does not exist. And if anybody tells you that, that is in violation of the antitrust law. This also says that we cannot discriminate. We are not inspectors, pest inspectors, appraisers, surveyors, engineers, environmental assessors, compliance inspectors. We cannot give advice or information in these realms. That's why these positions exist. We can give you our professional advice based an opinion based on the realm in which we work, but these are very specific realms and we cannot give that kind of information regarding that. If you have any questions regarding any of this, feel free to let me know. I can certainly go into more detail and send you in the right direction with regard to getting the answers that you want. If you want to, you also may also purchase a home warranty, also known as a residential service contract. I always recommend that we ask the seller to pay for one, depending on what the market conditions are. Of course, if you're competing, then or it's a hot market, then it's harder to get the seller to contribute because he's more in a position to not have to give as much. But if in the event that the seller does not want to pay for a home warranty, the buyer always has a right to do so. It's best to do it at closing. We can order it. You don't have to pay for it. It can be tacked onto your fees at closing. It's a really great way to cover yourself the first year because it never fails. The first year is when all hell breaks loose and everything that can't go wrong does go wrong, right? Let's hope it doesn't. But especially if the house has been vacant for a while and they fire up the HVAC, it's the middle of summer and then all of a sudden the HVAC doesn't work, right? So, or there's a water leak or anything like that. So electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, water heater, all of that good stuff is included depending on which company you go with and what the coverage is. I have a separate video that covers that. And I also send you a copy of the pamphlet so that you can review and you can decide if you want to do that. Okay. When viewing a property, it's also important to know that the homeowner can be videotaping it, recording audio. So it's very important that you make sure not to say a whole lot within the property because we don't want it being conveyed over to the seller, right? Again, to reduce the risk of fraud, we should refrain from sending anything electronically, any confidential information. You can always pick up the phone and call title and give information that way. So that is a summary of the residential buyer tenant representation agreement. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye. Little reminder that my business is based on referrals. Without wonderful people such as yourself, I could not keep my business running. So if you happen to know of anybody, friend, family, coworker, neighbor that is interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I would love to give them the best level of personal care. Thanks so much. Feel free to reach out, text, email, or call me. Thanks. Bye-bye.